getting close to the start of the football season. The NFL is beginning in 2 weeks. The last week of the preseason is upon us. It's a very exciting time. But for some organizations, for some teams, there's still a lot of uncertainty. And one of those teams and franchises is the Seattle Seahawks. Now, we expected there to be a lot of turmoil given the fact that they just traded away their organization's greatest quarterback of all time, arguably, in Russell Wilson. So the quarterback position, we knew there was going to be a bit of an adjustment period. And so far, that adjustment period has continued because Pete Carroll just announced yesterday in a press conference that he's still undecided on who his quarterback is. He was praising both Geno Smith and Drew Lock and almost said that they perhaps have an embarrassment of riches that we may have two number one quarterbacks, in the words of Pete Carroll. So Pete Carroll is saying all the politically correct things to say. It's the perfect political rhetoric. You don't offend anyone by appealing to everyone. And this is one of the reasons why Pete Carroll, I actually have a lot of respect for Pete Carroll because of his commitment to his players. He's all in on his players. He's one of those few coaches, no matter how old he is, how young he is, he's participating in the drills. He's running with the guys. He wants to be in the locker room. He ingratiates himself extremely well with his football players. And that's one of the big reasons why he was such a successful coach in college at USC and why he's had a really successful stint the second go-round in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks, is because of his ability to connect on his players' level, gain their trust, gain their confidence, and gain their respect. You give out what you put in. You get out what you put in. I think so the saying goes. Something like that. And Pete Carroll has always been an extremely positive, rah-rah, pomp, and circumstance type of coach. That's always been who he is. But right now, the Seattle Seahawks are in this precarious situation of trying to tank while also giving off the impression that they're trying to play hard and win and convince the players that they're trying to play hard and win. And they're trying to straddle this delicate balance of going with a quarterback that is going to likely give them the best chance of losing and a greater chance of landing the number one overall draft pick with the prospect of drafting a new quarterback in Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, while also exciting and energizing the fan base. Those are two polar opposite goals that they're trying to achieve at the moment. So they do have some good players. The Seattle Seahawks do have some good players. I like DK Metcalf. I like Tyler Lockett. I like Rashad Penny if he can stay healthy. I really like the running back they drafted out of Michigan State last year in the second round, Kenneth Walker the third. Jamal Adams, a strong safety on the defensive side, individually is a great player, but as a roster, this is not a very good roster. And this quarterback battle between Geno Smith and Drew Lock is kind of like a synecdoche. Those two guys, this quarterback battle basically sums up the roster. It sums up what this team is and who they're going to be this upcoming year. And again, even with some of these individual players that are good, and even Noah Fant, the nice young tight end prospect they acquired from the Denver Broncos in that Russell Wilson trade, we've seen how much football is about not only the team, but leadership at the quarterback position. Which one of those quarterbacks is going to actually galvanize the locker room? And again, setting aside whether or not the goal internally within the organization is to lose games, which quarterback do I firmly believe, if Pete Carroll hasn't made this decision already, which quarterback do I personally believe is going to command the most respect in that locker room and give the Seattle Seahawks not only the best chance of winning, but also the best chance of reinvigorating this fan base, to me, that's Geno Smith. Geno Smith is the guy. And so far, that's the guy that Pete Carroll has been leaning towards throughout the bulk of training camp. And there's several reasons for this. First of all, he's been a part of the organization already. This is his second season with the Seattle Seahawks. He played sparingly last year. Certainly wasn't a world beater, but he played in 4 games when Russell Wilson was out with that thumb injury. Completed 68% of his passes, threw 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Certainly wasn't setting the world on fire, but he took care of the football. And what I like about him, what I really appreciate about Geno Smith, is his competitive fire. He is a competitor. He competes. And most importantly, he truly cares about winning. He cares about playing hard. And while I do believe that Drew Lock is the more talented quarterback of the two, as far as leadership skills, leadership intangibles, Geno Smith is more familiar with that system. He's been in the NFL for 10 years. This is his 10th season. Drew Lock, we kind of know what Drew Lock is and who he's going to be. He's been in the NFL for 3 years. He has a career average of 59% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. So we know who he is. He's got high potential, but he is, unfortunately, a turnover machine. And to me, if it's a narrow choice, if both guys are essentially the same, I'd opt for going for the veteran, likely command more respect, more vocal, not to mention he possesses more dual threat characteristics and traits. And neither one of these quarterbacks is the franchise quarterback, is the quarterback of the future. But which one of those guys I think is going to command more respect in the locker room? And that's really the question at hand here. It's going to be Drew Lock. And again, I mean, it's going to be Geno Smith. Now, I do remember, perhaps this is a little Freudian slip, because DK Metcalf, of course, delivered that famous, perhaps infamous quote right after the Seattle Seahawks traded Russell Wilson away and acquired Drew Lock. He had given Drew Lock a ringing endorsement of public approval, said that he's backing him, that he's all behind him. Even with that being said, I just think if both guys are similar, you go with the veteran who is going to inspire the fan base a little bit more, because fans can also tell. I think that's the other aspect of it. You want fans to be invested. You want them to be involved, engaged. And they can sniff out someone that has a lot of ego and isn't doing everything that they can in the best interest of the team, versus the quarterback who I think is willing to put more of that personal ego aside. I think that man is Geno Smith.